Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And so for today's video, basically filming outside. Thought I would come outside and come on now. Oh, look at the sky. Yeah, there's some gray clouds a little bit, but it's nice to be outside, especially during this time. So I figured I would shoot this video outside. So if you guys hear wind and stuff like that, it's kind of breezy. So yeah, don't mind the sound, the breeze, the wind and whatnot if the microphone picks it up. But anyways, so while I'm out here, I wanted to talk to you guys about the Pixel 4a. So it's almost as if like we basically have an idea of specifications for the Pixel 4a, and one of the things that's kind of like a shocker or surprising is the fact that the Pixel 4a is actually going to have two variations of it, but it's not one being an XL and one being the regular size. Nothing like that at all whatsoever. It's going to be a 64 gig and a 128 gig version. So that's actually pretty cool because there are people who are wanting more storage, more internal storage. Obviously means better for people, since these devices today are moving away from using micro SD cards as part of the part of storage options, and even using where you could do where the SD card's adapted as part of the internal storage. So a lot of manufacturers' devices have moved away from that. So having a 64 gig and a 128 gig option is actually pretty cool. Like, I'm okay with the fact that there's not an XL version. But some of the specifications for the Pixel 4a is a 5.8-inch display, and it didn't really specify the aspect ratio of the display, but it is different than what we've come to see with 18:9 and 19:9 aspect ratios. I think it was like a 2430 by 1080 is the resolution, so possibly 420 pixels per inch. I may be wrong on that, but yeah, again, 64, 128 internal storage. That's actually pretty good. 6 gigabytes of RAM. Running Android 10 at launch, and will in fact get Android 11 once that becomes available. And on top of that, a 3080 milliamp hour battery. Now, some of the things that people got to understand is that the Pixel 4a is a mid-range, not a flagship. So therefore, what the Pixel 4 had as far as facial recognition unlock and the Project Soli is not going to be available on the Pixel 4a. Don't be expecting to be able to wake your phone by reaching for it. And for those who do like fingerprint sensor over facial recognition, then you'll be happy to know that it has a fingerprint biometric security. Polycarbonate, more than likely plastic built. That's fine. 12.2 megapixel main sensor on the back. Only one sensor, not dual sensors. And a 8 megapixel front-facing shooter. Now, the cool thing about the back camera is that it will be able to record in 4K at 120 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and 30 frames per second. And it could do slow motion in 240 frames per second. The selfie cam will be able to record in only 1080. So that's regular HD. And it'll only be able to do it in 30 frames per second. So if you're looking to use the Pixel 4a for videography and you want to get that good smooth motion, I would definitely say to learn to use the main camera sensor as the camera sensor that you record with. Like right now, I'm using the front camera because it has the ultra wide. Well, I wouldn't say ultra wide, just say wide angle. Ultra wide did not get introduced until later. But on my Pixel 3, it has wide angle and then standard. And so I'm using the wide angle right now to record this video on the selfie cam. It's not a super huge deal for me to actually record in 60 frames per second. I know some people are very nitpicky about that, and to each their own. But I do gotta say, specifications on the Pixel 4a is looking to be a little bit promising, using a Snapdragon 730, which is in the 700 series that the Pixel 5 will get. As we know, the Pixel 5 will have the Snapdragon 765G. But here's the thing, and publications are talking about this right now, and I think it's actually pretty weird. But I'm gonna ask this, and you guys can comment below in this video. Is the cameras the most important thing of a smartphone to you? Okay. Not to everybody else, just to you. You can just answer that. Is it? Because the one thing I noticed is that for a lot of publications talking about the Pixel 4a, when they want to make some sort of like comparison, like a rebuttal to the Pixel 4a to not overhype it, they tend to talk about other OEMs, other manufacturers who are in fact putting bigger camera sensors, and not bigger camera sensors, but like, for instance, like a phone that has a 48 megapixel camera rather than a 12.2 megapixel camera. And one of the things that, for you guys who have followed me for a long time, know is that to me, pixels, the rate of pixels does not mean it's always going to have the best photos. Okay, there are other dynamics that play into photography, especially from your smartphones. A lot of people know this about me, is like, yeah, you could take a good photo with a Pixel device, but I think the most superb shots are still going to come from actual cameras, from actual DSLRs. You'll get the best photos. Okay, you can probably, if you don't bring your DSLR, you could probably get a good photo from your smartphone to make up for not bringing your DSLR. It looks like the dude's riding his bike again. But I mean, you know, while it's all cool and dandy that smartphones are introducing better and better cameras, at the same time, the way that I feel, that the camera is not the only thing that makes the smartphone. That's my opinion. All right, there are other things that have to come into it, like user experience is one of the biggest that I look at when it comes to a smartphone. How does the phone work out for those people, novice or longtime users or heavy tech geeks? How's it going to work out for those individual sets, right? Like, not just pandering to one bracket or one area, but just really just like, how's it going to work overall in general for everybody? That's what I look at when it comes to a smartphone. I could care less if it had a 120 megapixel camera. That's not going to mean that it's going to have the best experience, right? You could have a 120 megapixel camera sensor installed on a smartphone and it still run like crap. The megapixels does not account for system optimization. The megapixels does not count for user experience. Just keep that in mind. I personally think the Pixel 4a is going to be a solid sell. I really do. Just like those people on the Apple side are excited for the new upcoming iPhone SE, and how a lot of people are like, that phone is going to, you know, have some huge sales. I feel the same way about the Pixel 4a. I think it's going to do very, very well. But you guys can tell me what you guys think in the comment section of the video. If you guys enjoyed today's video being done outside, smash that like button if you guys enjoyed it. Leave me your comments in the comment section of the video what you guys think, and if you are actually opting to look to get a Pixel 4a, let me know if you are. And yeah, that is it for right now. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you checked it out on IGTV, thanks so much for doing so. If you checked it out on YouTube, thanks so much for doing so. Really appreciate you guys, and I enjoyed being outside. It's really nice out here. I just love it. So, I know, right? We take a lot of things for granted. I'm with you guys. Look at that cat over there. He's just chilling. He has nothing to worry about. He really has nothing to worry about. His day is going to be good. All right, guys. Aloha.